Good morning. I am outside in my new outdoor living space. It is really important that we think about prevention. My voice is a little bit raspy today. Excuse me. When it comes to our health. So it's easier to prevent cancer than try to treat it. It's easier to prevent heart disease than try to treat it. But do we try to prevent anxiety? Do we work on stress and mindset when things are good? No. What we usually do when things are good is we just sort of chill and relax. Now, I'm not going to encourage you to develop an attitude of paranoia so that when times are good, you're worrying and planning about what could happen, right? Because that would be anxiety. So, when times are good, what we do need to be doing is prevention. We need to build strength and resiliency into our mindset when times are good. Just like you don't say, well, I feel pretty healthy, so I think I'll stop exercising. I think I'll eat crappy. I think I'll not worry about my relationships. And we know that would be unwise. So it's just the same. When times are going good, it's easy not to have anxiety. It's easy to not let stress get to us. But you want to be building that resiliency all the time. So today's video is about giving you some tips to build strength, resiliency, courage, a positive mindset when life's going pretty well. Because then when you hit those difficult times, when you face those challenges, when you're standing in front of that huge mountain, you don't fall apart. Because we've all been there, right? We've all been there at that time when we're facing down the monster and we think, I just can't do it. And we just feel flattened. Okay. If you have been working out in the gym, building muscle when you need to lift that rock, climb that mountain, run that mile, you're going to be able to do it. Okay. But I want you to have strength during the difficult times that are inevitably going to come in your life. The emotional hard times, the relationship challenges, the time when you get the bad news, you've lost your job, you've been laid off, relative is sick, you're sick. Let's plan ahead for these things, not by fear. There's a difference between always looking to see what's coming down the pike and catastrophizing and thinking about the worst case scenarios and planning by building strength. We don't need to know what's happening. If you heard my video on fearing the future, you know it's not a good idea to plan for disaster. You want to plan to have strength so that no matter what happens, you don't need to worry about all the details of what might happen because you are 100% confident that you are strong and capable and able to tackle big problems. That's when the rubber meets the road. The challenge comes, and those limiting beliefs that have always been here in the subconscious really begin to rise to the surface. If you do not believe you can handle it, you're not going to suddenly believe you can handle it. If you believe you're not lovable, when you meet a relationship challenge, that belief is still going to be there and it's really going to be challenged. So let's talk today about how you build strength and resiliency in good times so when the challenge comes, you're ready. That doesn't mean the challenge is going to be pleasant. That doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult, but you're going to be ready and you're going to handle it so much better. You're not going to be just reacting. How often have we done that? We just react. We're always putting out fires. I'm sure you realize if you look back in your life that so many times you could say, I would have handled this so much better if I had just planned. If I had just planned to eat healthy, I wouldn't be facing this health challenge. If I had planned my finances better, I wouldn't be in this difficult situation. If I hadn't ignored those red flags, I wouldn't be in this relationship crisis. So let's talk about how to prevent stress and anxiety before you get flattened by it. The first thing is you need to check your mindset, okay? You need to be monitoring your limiting beliefs. A lot of times we know that we're struggling, with negative beliefs, with low self-esteem, with lack of confidence, and we don't do anything about it. We just keep going on our busy lives and thinking, I really need to do something about that. I know I feel unlovable. I know I'm not confident, but hopefully it'll be okay. It won't be okay. It won't be okay. So work on that stuff now, not when you're not in a crisis. So in the description to this video below, I have put a limiting belief checklist. You can hear the birds. I love birds. I put a limiting belief checklist. On that checklist, you're going to find the key limiting beliefs that are going to cause you to trip up if you meet a crisis. I want you to know about these ahead of time. You can shift all of this in your subconscious mind, but it's a lot easier to do it when times are good than when you're in the middle of a crisis. So check out that list. Make sure that if you're struggling with something like that, that's why this channel is here. That's why I'm here. You can always go to my website, tiffanykapello.com. Be happy to help you. I've got lots of resources there, lots of articles. There's lots of videos on this channel. I want to help you. I've been through hell. It's a lot easier to go when you have that strength that you need. A lot easier to go through. The second thing is healthy connections. Okay. Get rid of the toxic people in your life because they become an added burden when you're going through a hard time. Now, how do you know whether someone is truly toxic and needs to be removed from your life or someone's just struggling? Okay, because we often do that. We think, I'm going to get rid of all the toxic people, and then you're hurting people by getting rid of the people that are really struggling and just need a friend. So a truly toxic person is someone that just absolutely does not admit they have a problem. So if there's a problem in the relationship, it's always you. They're always pointing the finger at you. You try to confront them and say, hey, there's an issue, always pointing back at you. They never admit guilt, never admit wrong, never change. These are the kind of people always creating drama that are going to make your life especially difficult going through a trial. Surround yourself with beautiful people. It's really challenging in today's society. We often live these isolated lives. We're always online. We need real, true connection. Go to yoga classes, join an art class. I know this sounds simplistic, but we can do this. We can build and nurture these healthy connections. But oftentimes we get so busy just enjoying and living life that when we need people, we haven't built those relationships. There's no one there. We don't have our support. Build it now when things are going well. Now, also, you want to make sure you're emptying your emotional reservoir. This is really important. This is tip number 3. So, if you're repressing, stuffing, ignoring difficult, painful emotions, if you are not dealing with past trauma, if you're just pretending like things aren't bothering you, that builds up. That emotional reservoir, which we all have, begins to fill and fill with every repressed emotion, with everything you pretend is okay when it's not. And then one day you face a trial, it overflows and you're in emotional chaos. Okay, keep that emotional reservoir managed and low on a day-to-day basis. Now, how do we do that? It's about expressing emotions. Sometimes it's not appropriate to express them to people. Sometimes we need to think about whether we should be this upset about an issue. It's okay. Write it down. This is why I love journaling. I have another video called Journaling to Freedom. This is a short daily practice. If you do this practice, it's going to keep that emotional reservoir free. So I encourage you to check out that video and learn how to do that bit of journaling. It will keep that emotional reservoir at a manageable level. So when you face a trial, you have all this emotional reserve to help you navigate through a difficult time. Another thing we often do is overwork. So you need times of rest. Stop overworking. Stop pushing yourself to the very limit. Often we actually create the stress and crisis in our life by doing just that, because you can do a few things well, or you could do many things poorly. When you put too much on your plate, things are going to start to get neglected, like your relationships, your children, these minor aspects of your life. You need times to rest. And they have actually proven in clinical research that people are more productive when they are including those times of rest in their life on a regular basis. You need downtime, you need adequate sleep, and you need time to rest. And for some of us, we are so busy that you're actually going to need to plan. You're going to need to literally schedule that hour in the evening. You're going to need to literally schedule that 4 hours to take that nature hike on the weekend. And I highly recommend connecting with nature, even if it's here in your own backyard. I have a beautiful garden over here. I love to work in my vegetable garden. I need those times. And I need that time to think, which brings me to my next point. You need silence. In our modern times, we are bombarded with information. We always have music, we always have podcasts. All these things are great, but you need time to also just have silence. That's when your brain can work things out. Have you ever noticed when you're in the shower, you solve so many problems? You solve them because you have given your brain time to think. If you don't have times of silence, then what will happen is you'll be lying down trying to sleep, and your brain will be, Tiffany, hey, Tiffany, we have to solve this problem. And your brain will be knocking at the door of your mind, bringing up problems that it wants you to solve. Because remember, your brain is about keeping you safe, it's about keeping you alive, it's about keeping you on top of things. You don't want your brain bothering you at 3 a.m. with problems. Give yourself the freedom to think. Literally just schedule in times of silence. In the morning, that's when I sit out here. I sit out here with my cup of coffee. I keep my phone turned off and I just think. I listen to the birds, I look at my garden, and I think. And that provides some free mental space for my brain to solve problems. And you wouldn't believe how many ideas and how many problems get solved in this wonderful morning time. I just sit out here. I'm usually here when the sun's rising, and I love it. So that's it. Checking my sheet to make sure I've covered everything because my memory needs a little help. So I love you guys, and I am here for you. Visit my website, tiffanykapello.com, for more resources and help. And I just encourage you to like this channel, to share it with friends, to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. I'm going to try really hard to be more regular and not so sporadic with the content here. I got some exciting things planned, and just make sure you think about one thing today. How can I build strength and resilience into my personality, into my mind now when things are good? Please check out the long line of videos I have on how to navigate through anxiety and stress. I'm always here for you, and have a wonderful day.